M and Sam and Dave and Save and Sam and Dave.
And you've clearly lost your damn mind.
And I've lost my mother flipping mind. I'm out of my Lily Von Six mind.
Oh, shit. Now what?
Not here. It will attract flies.
I have tickets for sale for the Alice Cooper show.
I have tickets for sale for the Alice Cooper show. And it's going to be so good because Lily V Six is going to be there.
That's the only reason to go, really.
Let's get Lily. Make sure we get a good view of the Sixer.
What the hell is this?
What the fuck is this? You're like, what the hell is that? I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Okay, let me go back to my...
What the fuck is going on?
I know, man. There's all kind of fucked up shit happening today.
There sure is.
Check, check, check. We got some levels.
I'm sweating my balls off.
She's sweating the balls off. She's a brick house, just letting the balls hang out.
Wow.
Joe Freeman, Jamie Leinhart, Billy Altman. He's an Altman.
And Robert. Despia.
Robert! It's the Dread Pirate Roberts!
Oh, shit.
Not here. Why are you shitting? What's the matter?
My tummy hurts, I told you.
Oh, shit, my tummy hurts. You're not drinking enough.
That's probably the problem is I'm drinking too much, sir.
Oh, Billy says he's going to Sammy Hagar and Night Ranger.
Yes, I know. He told me.
Sammy Ranger. Night Hagar. Okay.
Hi, Mark.
Hagar the Horrible. You're probably too young to remember that.
No, I know that comic.
I'm going to drink ahead of you, girl.
That's terrifying.
That's what we sound like. We sound good. Good audio. Sounds nice. Okay, I think I have everything. Chris Thunderwolf Dodson, Lily V. Oh, make sure that you share it on Rock Rage Radio for me, since I am still banned. I could be banned
did
up
something really bad.
I could be banned up to 30 days. I found out. So, I talked to John Coons. He's like, just share it, do it from your page, and share it, and we'll make it happen. So they haven't fired us, me.
No, this happens to everybody on Rock Rage all the time.
So, shit happens. It's the older way around. No, just joking, but Hagar is fire. I like them. Hagar is fire? Okay, if you say so. Hagar is fire. Hagar is fire! He's fire!
Okay.
All right. We are going to do this show about Sammy Hagar versus No, we're not Sammy Hagar versus ZZ Top, Billy. Hey, Billy, are you going to have... am I going to have to tell you to go to bed? We haven't even started yet. We're going to do the show about Sammy Hagar versus David Lee Roth, and because I kind of want to know what the fans really think. You get all these fans, and let's really nail it down. It's very interesting discussion. We ran a post today on Facebook, and people just went out of their minds. You're lucky, guys, because I almost did Nickelback versus Creed.
And I would still be in bed.
Did you see the post we ran on that?
Yes.
Oh my God, that blew up.
Of course it did.
You guys went nuts over that. That was like a you ever play the game Would You Rather?
Yes.
That was like that. Like on Sunday we went to a breakfast, and all the places were packed. And I'll tell you guys about it once we start the podcast. And we ended up playing Would You Rather. I don't know. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the party started here. So, Lily, you good?
Mm-hmm.
And I have... Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Okay, so here we go. Okay, guys, we're going to do this thing. You guys ready? I'm ready. Lily's ready. We have music. We have fun. We have laughter. We had joy. We had fun. We had seasons in the sun. Here we go. You ready? You got it all out. You got it all like... Let it out. Okay. Here we go. Shh. Everybody be quiet. We're going to start. Don't make any noise. Billy, be quiet. Or you have to go to bed. Today on the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus, we finally answer the question, who was the better frontman lead singer for Van Halen? Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth? Want to know for sure? Stick around. You're listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, changing rock history one podcast at a time. Welcome back, everybody, to the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. My name is Lou Lombardi, a.k.a. Loudini. Sitting with me tonight in the co-pilot's chair, as always, is the lovely, the talented, the highly controversial Miss Lily V6. What's up? What's up, girl? What are you doing?
Today?
Yeah, what are you doing today? Well, you said you were sleeping before you got here.
I was.
Why were you sleeping?
Because I needed a nap. I'm old now.
Yeah, you're all of what, 28?
Yeah, that's it. I went to work and then I came here. That's what I did. And I actually didn't do anything over the weekend. I didn't do anything for Easter.
What?
Nope. I don't do those things. None of that.
Wow, that's just crazy. LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com is the website. Check back often. All the usual stuff is there. Interviews and podcasts and guitar podcasts and rock and rants, and I got a lot of stuff, man. I got a lot of stuff on my mind I want to share with you guys soon. So there'll be more coming up this week. I do them every week, so you can check it out at LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. And we're in all the places. We're on Spotify. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, all the Apple Music. Excuse me, I'm sorry, it's Apple Music. All the cool places like that. You can check everything out there. As well as our just wonderful partners at Rock Rage Radio. If you love great guitar-driven rock, rockrageradio.com. Download the app and you can have it 24/7, right?
Yep.
You can have it till it's coming out your eyeballs. So anyways, guys, Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. Today we are talking about Sammy versus Dave. That is the big topic for this week. And I was saying before we came on, we were joking around on the after show, and if you want to do the after show, I'll give you a link for that later. Last week I was threatening to do Nickelback versus Creed.
Well, did you guess my answer by the vomiting face? Because I gave my answer.
Yes. And we saw. So I just for shits and giggles, I ran a post, and oh my god, you guys went out of your minds. I mean, some of the people were literally like, "This like hurts my brain. Like I can't handle this. You know, what am I supposed to say to this?" We totally freaked you guys out with that. I love having fun, man. It's all in good fun. So, and if you and some of the people were like, "Well, wait a minute. Like I actually know I kind of like Creed or I kind of like Nickelback." That's cool too. It was just a little bit of fun. Because we all know what the cliches are, you know, about Nickelback and Creed, and you know, there's this whole list of. Maybe we should do a podcast: the 10 most hated bands of all time and why they're hated. That'd be fun.
That would be delightful.
No.
No, and yes, I like doing that.
So that could be a fun show at some point. So, but no, I was threatening to do that, but we didn't. And I was saying that would be like a, you know, that was kind of like a would you rather. You know, would you rather?
Yeah, that's a good game.
We went to, we drove all around Sunday trying to find a place to get breakfast that wasn't like packed, right on Easter. And we went to the Denny's over there in Green Tree.
Okay, yeah.
And it was not packed at all. We sat down immediately, but we sat and waited for our food for like 4 hours. It was dead.
But you
they had
waited
a sign
forever.
up saying, "Please pardon us, there is no heat in our dining room." That's probably why there was like not a lot. And we got this lady who waited on us. God bless her. She had to be 80 if she was a day. And it took forever just to get water. I was like, what the heck? So here we were thinking like, oh, we got to see this is going to be great. And we sat and waited. So I said, you know, to Sharon, I said, okay, would you rather get seated at the restaurant right away but have to wait to get service, or wait a long time but have awesome service? So we were playing a little bit of Would You Rather. So that's kind of like Nickelback versus Creed. Would you rather have to go to a Creed concert or rather have to go to a Nickelback concert?
Nickelback with all the alcohol. That's how I'm going to play that game.
Nickel Hall. How about that?
because I can't stand Creed at all.
And you said you didn't go to any shows or anything?
Well, I went to the 69 Eyes on Thursday, but since then I have done nothing. Nothing.
Are you
Although
okay?
that show
Are you
was
not
good.
feeling well or
There's
something?
just
wrong?
nothing. I mean,
There was
well,
nothing you really wanted to go do.
I had a
or-
debit card issue happen on Thursday. I switched with somebody else by accident, but that's getting fixed. But so it's fine. There were shows to go to. Unfortunately, I could not go to them. However, Thursday is the last show I went to. It was at the Craft House. Like we said before, they have tons of shows happening and coming up, and I'm excited for all of them. But that one was pretty awesome. Apparently, 69 Eyes have not played in the U.S. in like 10 years.
Wow. So they did put a good show?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Oh my god, I loved it.
What's 69 Eyes like? What's their big song?
They're like goth rock.
Goth rock.
I don't really know their big song because I don't know the names of their songs, but I do. Somebody talked me into going,
and it turned out to be good.
turned out to be awesome. They started out with like the Lost Boys song. That
Cry Little Sister.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was
Neat.
like epic.
It's like epic.
And I was having such a good time until I lost my debit card.
Oh, bummer.
I didn't find out till the next day.
Yeah, that kind of stuff can shut you down. Yeah, I went to I saw Pet Cemetery Saturday
How
night.
did you like it? I heard some people didn't enjoy it.
If you're looking for like a real gory slasher kind of movie, no, that's not what it is.
That's not it.
I thought it was was a good story. I really like the fact that they did not try to make
Remake it.
exactly.
Okay.
They took it in some new directions, which I thought was totally cool. Yeah, and what's his name was fantastic in it. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
John Lithgow.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
well, he's creepy anyway.
He was fantastic in it, and the kids were good. It was a good film, but like I said, some people may not feel it was scary enough. So everybody, we're so conditioned with like modern horror films. Like there's a jump scare every 30 seconds, and if that isn't happening,
There's
you're like
blood.
Yeah, or there's blood or something happening, and like this isn't like that. This is a story about this family. And there's some build up and stuff, and you have to just kind of like get into the atmosphere of the thing and just kind of go along with it. But that's sort of my mini review of it. Some people are gonna like it, some people aren't.
I still want to see it. I don't care.
I thought it was pretty good. In the original they did the cheesy baby doll effect with the kid, that attacks the guy with the knife,
Oh, yeah.
and that effect hasn't really held up. Whereas the way they did things differently in this film. I don't want to do any spoilers. And the way they did it, was just, I don't know. I thought it was more kind of realistic, even though it's not a realistic story at all.
I got you.
It didn't take you out of the movie. That's the thing. It's the thing that with a lot of these movies that are really gory, with me it takes me out of the movie. Because I'm thinking well, how did they do that effect? And I'm like,
You're thinking
I'm
too
gone.
much about it.
I'm all of a sudden and it's or I'm grossed out. So, it had the right amount for me. Keith probably will hate it. Somebody like Keith, if you love that, you need that really fierce, in your face kind of stuff. You're probably not going to dig it.
Yeah, Lance didn't like it.
Yeah. Some people it's just what you like.
But he's seen everything. I watched the trailer and I'm more been interested in the new Disney movies coming out as far as the live action.
Okay.
I watched the Aladdin trailer today and I am not interested at all in watching
Really?
it. It looks too Bollywood. It looks like straight out of Bollywood.
It's like Bollywood.
It does. I'm sorry. And I hate Bollywood stuff. I think it's super boring. So I probably won't see that. I did like the Dumbo though. I cried like a bitch.
Oh, so you did go see
I
Dumbo.
did
You did.
see
Yeah, you
Dumbo.
told me. And you said it was sad.
It was sad, but it was not as sad as the cartoon, if you could believe that.
Well, and how do you feel Tim Burton treated it?
I thought it was really good. He did change a little bit in it because obviously animals don't really talk, so he took that out of it.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
No,
He
animals don't talk.
No, he took that out and
What kind
added
of
kids
crazy
to talk
horseshit is that?
for the animals.
Oh, the kids talk.
But I really liked it. It was super cute and
I
it was
gotcha.
sad and dark as expected.
What's
And they even did the scene with the pink elephants. A lot
Aw.
of people were like, How are they going to do the drunk scene with Dumbo? He wasn't really drunk, but it was cute.
I got you. All right, well, we're going to come back, and I promise we're going to get into Van Halen. We digressed for a minute. I'm sorry, guys. We're breaking the one of the podcast rules, and that is to, if you have a podcast topic, you're supposed to get on the topic. So we're going to get on in a second, but you guys know we play music all the time. This is Aftershock Forever in Metal on the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. Okay, we can breathe. So, yeah, we got 4 minutes on that. Smoke them if you got them, guys.
I don't.
You can smoke anything you like. Weed, crack, crank, whatever you like. But just no cigarettes. That's bad for you.
I don't have any anyway, because I'm not smoking. As much as I would really want one.
You really want one?
Yeah.
You're craving.
Yeah, but I don't do that anymore.
Not anymore? Like, not at all?
Yeah.
Like, not even like a little... Not even when you're drinking?
No, and that's when it kills me.
Because there's a lot of people say, like, I don't smoke except for when I'm drinking. But you don't smoke even when you're drinking.
No, that's why I drink more, I think.
You need something to offset it.
Like what?
Well, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, like, you need to drink to offset the fact that you're not smoking.
Yeah, and when I was trying not to drink as much, I would smoke more. It's just the weirdest thing.
2 words, my dear. Oral fixation. Me, I'm anally fixated.
Oh.
That's my problem.
Good. Look at your little setup you have here, leaning back with your microphone.
I'm chillaxing. It's chillaxing time. Ah, scheisse. Well, hopefully Facebook will let me out of jail and I'll be able to go on my pages. I can't get on anything. Somebody hacked it and so I can't get on my.
Don't you love when people hack your account?
I can't get on my auto page. I can't get on any of my pages. I can't get on Rock Rage Radio. I can't get on my music page. Can't get on shit.
Shiza.
What can you do? What's everybody drinking?
Burr.
Burr? I'm with the bird, man. I got the bird as a word, guys. Get that giant gallon jug of wild turkey. It'll last you. God, I gotta go get a car. I have to get a new car.
Why? What's wrong with yours?
Nothing. It's just the lease is up. And so you got to go before the deal is over and blah, blah, blah. And I had to go there today and sit and deal with that horse shit. And I'm not one of these people that's all excited about a car that could give a fuck. I just want to be able to get where I'm going. Maybe listen to some music or something while I'm doing it.
So you don't even need a fancy car?
No. I'm getting the same vehicle. I'm getting a Jeep Compass. I don't care. Whatever. Except I'm getting blue instead of whatever color that is.
Blue's such a great color.
I just want something different. But the new ones have upgraded electronic package and computer packages in them, so it's and I'll have satellite radio for a year. You get a year's worth of satellite radio, so I'll be listening to some satellite radio. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I listen to hair metal or Hair Nation. So.
Hair Nation. I switch around, and then I also get on the kick with the comedians. I'll listen to a lot of comedy stuff. I listen to Stern a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we're gonna do this thing. So everybody, get ready. We got about 13 seconds here. Aftershock Forever in Metal.
You are a special guy.
I know, I'm very special. Well, that's not special. Are they special like me?
Billy, you don't know shit about beer, so stop talking about it.
Billy, you don't know shit about beer. Don't be a fool with your life. Okay, that was the band Aftershock with no. It's Aftershock no C. Okay, so if you're searching for them, and aftershock.com no C. You got it, guys? You see what I'm talking about?
Sans C.
Sans C. All right, so what do you think? Let's talk about these two morons that tried to front Van Halen.
They tried. They tried to do it.
So why don't we go ahead? I'm sure Lily's all about the histories and
I do
the
have
backgrounds and stuff. So let's get a little bit of history on Dave and Sam. Who are you going to start with?
We're going to start with Dave. David Lee Roth.
Diamond Dave.
American rock vocalist, songwriter, actor, author, and former radio personality. Best known for the original and current lead singer of rock band Van Halen. He was also a successful solo artist. He rejoined Van Halen in 2006 after 20 years apart, and they released the comeback album, A Different Kind of Truth. I don't know if you remember when that came out, with the song Tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
In 2007, they were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he's also known as Diamond Dave. In 1974, Van Halen was Mammoth, became Van Halen, and Gene Simmons actually tried to recruit Roth for Kiss. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I knew that he had worked with David Lee Roth. That he originally wanted to. He originally signed them, and then because Kiss got busy and was touring and stuff, he couldn't give them, so he let them out of their contract. I did know that. I did not know he wanted him actually in Kiss. What was he going to do in Kiss?
They didn't elaborate on it, but Gene tried to recruit him, but Gene did help them produce their first demo. Roth plays guitar and harmonica on Ice Cream Man, The Full Bug, Could This Be Magic? As you know, I'm sure. 1978, the debut album came out, and they earned significant attention with that, and a total of six successful albums with Roth.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Is David Lee Roth his real name?
I believe it is. Because they didn't show an extra name on there anywhere.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Van Halen biography by their former manager?
I know what it is. I've never read it.
We will come back to that later.
Sounds good.
So go ahead. So continue. I'm sorry.
He did his solo career, which he was very successful on doing that. He came up with very cheesy music videos, as I'm sure you remember, California Girls.
I'm just a gigolo.
And that. He worked with Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, and Greg Bissonette. And he was to replace Howard Stern when he departed to go to Sirius. Roth lasted 4 months before it ended in a lawsuit. There was some sort of rift between him and management, and he frequently complained about them. Then he returned in 2006, 2007 back to Van Halen for a 40-date arena show, which I went to. It was okay.
All right.
And now he has his own broadcast on YouTube and iTunes called The Roth Show. And he does what we do, talks about various rock topics and things of the like. And he also has skincare products called Ink the Original. It's for tattooed skin. So that's what Dave's doing.
That's interesting. Very, very interesting. He was Ted Templeman. Has gone on record saying that Dave was very, very difficult to record vocals because he's just not a good singer. I'm making air quotes. Singer.
That's
I'm
why
not
I said
saying
guitar.
he's not a great front man.
He's a great front man. He's got all the charisma.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And the way that the music that he did with Van Halen, very different than the music that Van Halen did with Sammy Hagar. And the music that David Lee Roth did solo was very different than the music that he did with Van Halen. Mm-hmm. Other than Yankee Rose, a lot of the other stuff was very different. Like the cover of California Girls and Just a Gigolo and that. But did you remember the song "Damn Good"?
Yeah.
It's this kind of trippy ballad kind of thing that he did that was just very different.
He wasn't much into doing the ballads. He was much into doing the party songs, and Eddie Van Halen was not interested in doing those sorts of songs. So that's eventually what the argument was and why he left Van Halen.
Right. I mean, I don't think that Sammy Hagar would have written a song like "Running with the Devil."
Yeah. Oh, that's a great song.
Oh, that, of course, it's brilliant. I mean, in my opinion, Van Halen and 1 and Van Halen 2. I mean, right? A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, no!" You know, fair warning. It's the unappreciated Van Halen. I mean, Eddie's playing so, and 5150, but those 2 records right there reinvented rock, reinvented the electric guitar. I mean, they were just like everything.
Yeah, they were doing completely different whatever.
Yeah, they completely changed everything. Those when that came out, all of a sudden, within 2 albums, every band in LA wanted to do something like that. So yeah, they were very totally revolutionary, and it was with David Lee Roth, and Dave had that personality that really would shine through, even on the recordings.
Yeah, he had. I saw Van Halen twice with David Lee Roth. I've never seen him with Hagar, but Roth, even still, was jumping around the stage. He commanded the stage. He has such charisma, and he absolutely is amazing as a frontman. You have to give him that. He's there. You notice him. He's doing his thing. Fantastic, and he's not that great of a singer even now. But he, like you said, it was different at the time, and people loved it, and they didn't care about that.
Yeah, and he, what he did vocally was really just fit really well with what the rest of the band was doing. It really kind of set them apart. I mean, one of the things that record labels, it's a different world today, but in the era when the record labels ruled things, one of the things that they really looked for was that voice. And was it unique? It had to be kind of different. It had to be kind of stand out. And I remember hearing Van Halen on the radio in that late 70s period and going like, this singer, like I at the time, you got to realize, you got to take it back to place and time. There was no MTV. There was no internet. There was no way you could just like pull up your smartphone and look up what the guy looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know if he was black. I didn't know if he was white. I didn't know if he was older. I didn't know if he was like a kid. Like I had no concept in my mind because but his voice, I was like, I remember sitting there listening, going like, who was making this sound? It's so, there's this really heavy rock band, and there's this like different kind of, I don't know what's the, like. Even when he did something like Running with the Devil, there was a sort of like wink, elbow you kind of sarcastic humor to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dave.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There was this sort of like fun thing about it. And, that just was really, it just defined, it was the whole thing. You have this band with that kind of singer who's very different, very unique, comes out, the whole thing, great frontman. You've got the guy who I believe arguably is the greatest guitarist in all of rock. You have this great rhythm section and amazing background vocals and great songwriting. Like, it's the perfect everything.
Like, perfect band.
Yeah, I mean,
time being.
Exactly. I mean, I love Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Deep Purple. I love all those bands. But Van Halen reinvented all that and did it in their own way and did it amazingly. People, to this day, I bet you right now there's some kid in his room somewhere, probably several, maybe hundreds in their room,
Hopefully.
sitting there trying to figure out some Van Halen riff.
Good luck.
Yeah, they're just, So, but I don't know how many singers say that they're influenced by David Lee Roth.
I've never actually
Good
heard
question. Good question. So let's
That's
talk a
something to
little.
look up.
Let's tell the Sammy story.
Sammy Hagar, American rock.
Now wait a minute. Now David Lee Roth,
vocalist.
other than a brief flirtation with maybe somehow being a part of Kiss, that's basically his first band.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because this is a little different here with Sammy. Go ahead.
Sammy Hagar, American rock vocalist, songwriter, musician, and entrepreneur, came to prominence in the 70s with the hard rock band Montrose.
Hard rock candy.
Then launched his successful solo career. And also known for replacing David Lee Roth in Van Halen with commercial success. Inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with David Lee Roth as part of Van Halen. Founded the Cabo Wabo tequila brand and restaurant chain, as well as Sammy's Beach Bar Rum. He's currently the lead singer of Chickenfoot and The Circle, and also known as the Red Rocker. When he was in Montrose, he wrote his first song, Bad Motor Scooter. He had conflicts with Ronnie Montrose after a European tour and quit the band. Started a solo career on Capitol Records, so prominent label. He felt that they weren't supporting him enough, so he went over to Geffen, another prominent label.
Yeah, so he was a big name artist.
Yeah, he was already
yeah, he was
big.
all very well established.
Yeah. Started the supergroup HSAS. Hagar, Sean, Aronson, and Shreve did a small Christmas tour benefit for local charities. And then 1985 is when he replaced Roth. And
what about some of his, before we get into that, what are some of his big, do you have a list maybe of some of his songs?
From which one? Montrose? Shit,
from like his
I have the
solo
album
career.
names. For himself, it's 9 on a 10 scale, Sammy Hagar, Musical Chairs, Street Machine, Danger Zone, Standing Hampton. Well, one of my favorite songs, it's also my theme song, is Heavy Metal. That's a solo song.
Yeah, that's a solo song.
I Can't Drive 55.
Voice of America. And there was I Can't Drive 55, of course.
The Heavy Metal.
I Like Three Lock Box. The Two Sides of Love. So he was well established as an artist. Like, you know, him joining Van Halen is kind of like Joe Walsh joining the Eagles.
Yeah.
You know, he was a guy who was completely a thing. He was already a thing. You know, but
I mean, he had 8 albums before he even joined Van Halen.
You get the call from somebody like Van Halen, you know. So talk a little bit about the Van Halen experience.
So 85, that's when he replaced Roth. Eddie Van Halen had super huge respect for Montrose, which is why he even considered it. And fans started calling Van Halen Van Hagar. People think that they changed the name, and it's like, no, fans are just calling him that. So, like, calm down.
They better calm down.
Internal disputes led to Hagar's decision to leave the band. Basically, what happened was Hagar and his wife were in Hawaii awaiting the delivery of his child. Eddie wanted him back in the studio. They came back to the States, and she did not get to have her child in Hawaii, basically, is what they wanted to happen. So, you know, it was sort of a wife-family thing, and he was eventually... He says he was fired. Eddie said he quit. So there's a little... We don't really know what happened, but...
The story that I heard that I heard Sammy Hagar say for years was that the band had 5 #1 albums or whatever in a row, and he wanted to go back and do another album, and they were like, "We want to do a greatest hits,"
and they wanted him to record new stuff on it. That was part of it. Yeah.
And he was like, "We want to," you know. So he was like, "You don't do a greatest hits album when you have #1. You keep going. You really want to kind of like exhaust that." And, you know, but that always smacked of like a really flimsy reason.
Yeah.
You know,
there were.
I kind of I mean, and you're right. And you hear all this stuff,
and you don't really know because
you're
not them,
and you're not there. And they came back and left again.
Yeah.
And now they are not on any kind of speaking terms. At all.
Not at all.
So we don't really know what was said, and we all know. Everybody listening to us probably has a situation in their life where things got said that you can't take back.
Yeah.
And I suspect that in the heat of whatever was, hey Bobby, yes, thank you for liking the video. Guys, share it, please. In the heat of whatever was going on, things were said, and feelings were really hurt, and
you can't take it back.
And that, you know, yeah, stuff was said you can't take back.
But Sammy's super ambitious. He also had Sammy Hagar on the Wabaritas. Then in 2003 he did the reunion with Van Halen and did new tracks on the Best of Both Worlds. Again, problems with the tour and everything. So Eddie Van Halen relapsed into alcoholism. They completed the tour, and then Sammy's gone. But he also does Chickenfoot, which is a supergroup with Michael Anthony and Chad Smith and Joe Satriani. He does The Circle, which is another supergroup featuring Michael Anthony, Vic Johnson, and Jason Bonham. And they do songs from Van Halen, Montrose, Zeppelin, and Chickenfoot. So he's super ambitious. He keeps going. He doesn't want to quit. He's still touring. He's like one of our fans, Billy Altman, said he is coming to Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh. So he's doing that whole tour with The Circle. And, I mean, this man's albums are, like, he's just, the list goes on. Like, all the albums with everyone. So.
Okay, we're going to come back and compare and contrast the two approaches, because I remember, because I was such a Van Halen fan, and I was just happy they were doing records, and I wasn't all that concerned about who was singing, because they did get a great singer.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they got some schmo who didn't know how to sing or like didn't know what he was doing. I mean, this guy is a veteran. Like, he's as much if you could pick anybody, you know, you'd pick, you know, of a wildly established, wildly successful band, you'd want somebody of that caliber, of that ilk.
Yeah.
I think. But we're going to come back and compare and contrast, because all these years later and all the stuff that happened, I think that, like, we all have a lot more perspective on it. At the time, I will admit I didn't. So we're going to come back and share some of that stuff. We're going to do a little compare and contrasting. And I have and I can't believe you didn't bring this up, I have there's a very interesting footnote to this whole story that has come out recently that it is just like, okay, brain explodes. But this is a band from Pittsburgh that I really think is just so cool. This is Chip and the Charge Ups. It's a track called Front Row on the Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. Okay, cool. Everything looks good so far.
You enjoying your beverage?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do is what I'm going to do here is get us lapel mics.
So we don't have to talk.
We don't have to talk in the thing, and I think we'll get like a better sound. You know, probably less feedback if we want to turn the monitors up a little louder.
Word.
Yo. What?
Are you and Sharon going to the Alice Cooper show?
I don't know.
Not the concert, the pre-show.
I would like to go to that. That's my favorite.
I have tickets. Buy them for me.
That's my favorite. Were they like $7,000 a piece?
$22.
What?
Yeah.
It's crazy. What do you think, I'm made out of money or something?
Seriously, that's cheap.
Just teasing you.
It was more expensive than the Alice Cooper ticket for the actual show, but it's a small party. It's at the Subalpine this year, though.
Oh, where's that?
Turtle Creek.
Turtle Creek.
It's a bigger venue.
They don't need a bigger venue.
No, I mean,
they
it's
did
not big.
They didn't pack the fucking Smiling Moose.
It's an Italian club. Oh. It's where they're having it.
The Moose must have been booked or something. When is it?
July 18th.
Yeah, the Moose probably has something going on the next week. We can do it.
Yeah, because it was October when they were there before.
Yeah. The other thing is, too, I don't know, maybe they want to do something where there was parking. Yeah,
there's like way better parking.
Yeah, there's no park. There is no freaking parking on the south side.
Yeah, Subalpine has great parking.
In the past few years, it's gotten worse.
You can't park anywhere; they'll tow your ass. They don't care. Because you used to be able to park at that bank there across from.
You have to go to one of the lots.
Yeah.
And pay, $15 or whatever,
Or walk a super far way, which I hate.
Last time we went down there, we went to see Rival Sons, I think.
Nice.
And Sharon wore these like giant high heels that like hurt her feet.
I told my sister not to do that when we went to see Lords of Acid, and she did it anyway.
She's usually okay in high heels, but this one pair she wore them just because they looked good, not because they were terrible.
There's no comfort involved.
Yeah, they were like. I guess some are like, or the way she explained to me, some are like well made and they don't hurt her. She's like, but because she was a dancer, so she's like used to it. But some just aren't. They're just, oh, that song's over. All right, Chip and the Charge Up. Sorry, that was not as long as the last song. And Lily and I were talking about shoes and got distracted there. So apologize, guys, for that. Let me give you guys the lowdown on Chip and the Charge Ups. Chip and the Charge Ups are at Chip and the. They're called. It's at the. Excuse me. The ChargeUps.com is a website for Chip and the Charge Ups. Check them out. Great Pittsburgh band.
Opening for Nita Strauss.
Oh, cool.
At the Hard Rock.
Chip Demonic.
Yes.
Is and I liked his other band.
Yeah, his daughter is the bass player, Melina.
Cool. So, anywho's, we are talking about Van Halen with David Lee Roth. Now, we are getting into the compare and contrast portion of the program. So we're talking about Van Halen with Sammy Hagar, Van Halen with David Lee Roth, and we're trying to get to the answer of like really what Van Halen did fans ultimately prefer. So let's do a little before we can get into all that. Let's do a little compare and contrast.
Okay.
So, what is the difference between the Van Halens? The two Van Halens. We're not talking about Gary Sharon.
He's
That's
not in the
a whole
equation.
other.
We ain't playing that game.
We're not getting into that. That's like we're just sort of pretending for the sake of argument that didn't happen. Okay.
Well, Van Halen with David, as far as music went, was harder, was more sex, drugs, rock and roll kind of music, kind of pre-glam metal. I would say it's probably that. I'm sure Van Halen was an influence for a lot of those sort of bands. But they talked about partying, they talked about having a good time, or sang, about having a good time, and very, very, very few ballads. Very few. It was talking about like, I don't know. It was just harder. It was just harder with.
I think the closest thing that they did to a ballad with David Lee Roth was like what? I ain't talking about.
Yeah, and that's
like that.
Obviously. It wasn't about it wasn't promoting love in any.
Well, you could say, look at it this way. Like I heard, there's you could see it on YouTube. Joe Rogan had David Lee Roth on recently, and David Lee Roth did his own compare and contrast. He's like,
of course
he says, I would sing a song like "Ain't Talking About Love," and Sammy Hagar would sing a song, "Why Can't This Be Love?"
Right. Yeah, I was like on that side of it. Sammy Hagar sang a lot of songs about love. And they rocked, too. I mean, sure, they're love songs, but they still rocked hard. I still love them. I think they're a little more poppy, probably, on that side of the spectrum, I would say, than hard rock. But they still sounded great. As far as being a frontman, David Lee Roth definitely was, like we said before, an amazing frontman. He had all the charisma in the world, dressed fun. He was super hot. I'm sure all the girls liked him with his long blonde hair and...
Not that you like that kind of thing at all, Lily.
Actually, that wasn't my thing. I don't like long blonde hair. I like long dark hair.
Nikki 6.
Yes, as we all know.
I would say that Van Halen's music with David Lee Roth was more raw and more straight up rock. Straight, not a lot of chord changes, things like that. When they got with Sammy, the songwriting evolved to songs that had way more going on harmonically, much more depth, musically. Obviously, different lyrics. We already touched on that, but with that comes, I think, at that time, you got to put this in time and space. Music today's pop music, like the top 40 Billboard kind of music today, is completely different. But at that time, if you started to do stuff that had like a little, more chord changes, more melodicism and stuff like that, it automatically started to swing you more onto the pop side of things. They're really, there really weren't a lot of bands that were doing stuff like that would still could somehow keep it really hard rocking. That's kind of a fine line to walk. I think Van Halen did one of the best bands to keep it rocking as much as they could, and still do that. But I mean, they have tons of really heavy rock tunes with Sammy, like Black and Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, that's a total balls out rock tune. That's heavy as F, you know. But yes, they were definitely on the train. And I think here's the way I see it. As a musician, Eddie is an amazing musician, and I think that as writing partners go with Sammy Hagar, I think they went through a long period where they were really kindred spirits, because I think that Eddie was looking to progress. I think he was looking to do something a little deeper musically, looking to take it in a little different direction. You guys have to understand, not every band can be AC/DC.
And just
do the same album over and over.
It works for them.
It works for them. But a lot of bands, you can't get away
progress.
with that. You have to progress. And as much as everybody bitches about Metallica, and I want to turn this into Metallica, but Metallica would not be the famous band that they are today if it did not progress and do different songs, bring in different sounds and experiment a little bit, do some records that people hate saying anger. And that's what musicians do. You guys that like get all bitchy about it, you just don't get it. You're not a musician. John Fox, I know you prefer. He's a fan of ours. I know you prefer David Lee Roth, but I think that even you can see, the argument for why Eddie would be attracted to working with somebody like Sammy, who brings that to the table. That was missing from Van Halen. They didn't have that. I mean, you could make the argument that their first real pop record is 1984, and that's the last record with David Lee Roth.
Yep.
And the songs on that record, there's more keyboard-oriented songs like "I'll Wait" and "Jump," but there's also one of their most iconic rock guitar songs, and that's "Hot for Teacher." Big giant video. That may have even won MTV's Video of the Year.
It probably did.
I mean,
they did a lot of cheesy videos with.
Yeah, and that was a super fun video. And the song starts with a freaking drum solo. Mm-hmm. How much more rock and roll can you get than that? So I think that it's just, as a musician, there is a desire to kind of go, it does. Yes, the fans love it and they want you to do the same thing, but do they really?
As a musician, though, aren't you going to get bored?
Well, you're going to get bored, but the thing is, do the fans really? They say they do.
They want to.
There aren't very many bands that
they're staying in a rut. They're staying safe.
There aren't many bands. I mean, the Police changed their sound almost every album. U2 has reinvented themselves several times, and so I think that
the problem with people is they don't like change.
No, that's
the problem.
People don't like change.
But then when they hear it, they can get used to it, and then they don't want it changed again. It's just like a thing. Don't move my cheese.
Right. Well, there's an element of the human condition that everybody wants that sameness, because we're looking for that. It's like security. It's like secure. It's like, I know when I pick up the new AC/DC album, I know what I'm going to get. Mm-hmm. However, there's also an element in all of us that wants surprise. So we're always looking for that balance. That sort of like, give me something I know, but take me in a little. I'll let you take me in a little different direction. So some people, though, I know, like, some of the people who weighed in on the poll today, just that was too much of a shift for them. They did not like that. They wanted to remain with David Lee Roth, etc. Sammy's music is more melodic, like we said, and just by that fact, it becomes more radio pop friendly. And they really launched into the big videos and the big pop hits with Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar kind of did, this is somewhat of a comparison, kind of did for Van Halen what Jonathan Cain did for Journey.
Okay.
He kind of like, progressed them enough so they could get like, be like kind of a mega hit producing, act. Mm-hmm. And those of us that were a lot of people were hardcore rockers, just like the people that were pissed about Metallica doing the Black Album. I feel like it's the same kind of mentality. What do you think?
I would. Oh, hi, Jim. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, like we said, they don't want it to change, and I get it. The hard rock sounded great, but Eddie Van Halen is getting bored. Time to move on. Let's try something else. And
I mean, they did a lot of different kinds of music with Sammy Hagar. You listen to something like "Finish What You Started." And, you can knock on Sammy for being like too lovey-dovey, but you think of "Finish What You Started." You know what this? I mean, you really, what's the song about, right?
yeah.
I
like a lot of the songs by Sammy.
Yeah.
Can't Stop Loving You. Yeah, I know. I like it still. I don't care.
Yeah, that is a song. Well, the Van Halen is not. I mean, did have pop songs before Sammy Hagar. Some of them were like their covers of "Dancing in the Streets," but you remember a song called "Pretty Woman"? Do you remember a song called "Dance the Night Away"?
Yes.
That's a killer pop tune.
It's great.
It's just a straight up fun.
You can dance to that.
Yeah, hell yeah! It's a super fun pop tune. No guitar solo.
Because it makes you want to go like this.
Yeah. One of my favorite Van Halen tunes, but so the just different kind of approaches. I think too we need to compare and contrast in the sense that Sammy is a guitar player. And had a career as a singer, songwriter, guitar player
prior.
Yeah, for would you say 9
Several
albums?
years. Yeah, there was.
So he's different. This is Van Halen is David Lee Roth's first band.
Mm-hmm.
Different, totally different circumstances, different things. Now I'm going to go ahead. I was going to save this for the end, but I'm going to go ahead and pull this out.
Okay.
And I believe his name was Noel. He just released a book last year about Van Halen. He's a former manager. And here's what he says, and Ted Templeman has confirmed this. When Van Halen was getting ready to record, Ted Templeman brought them in and said, I'd like you guys to consider working with this guy. He just left the band Montrose, and he's looking for something. He's looking for a new band. His name's Sammy Hagar. So Sammy Hagar was considered briefly in the very beginning, before they ever recorded a note with David Lee Roth, was considered. Ted Templeman was really pushing to have Sammy in the band because he had recorded Sammy and he knew that Sammy was going to walk in there and just nail everything vocally, like boom, 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 we're going to be done.
Plus, he's a musician.
But they loved Dave's personality and the way he could run the crowd and his looks. And
commercially,
and it worked for them for a long time. The other thing happened, guys, is music changed. Things we left the 70s. There weren't a lot of bands that could go out of the 70s and come into the 80s and still go. A lot of bands that were huge. Like I've mentioned for the band Kansas, huge 70s band, but man, they just could not.
38 Special.
38 Specialized bands could not really cut it in the 80s.
Nope.
Maybe for a minute in the very early 80s when we still didn't know what the 80s were going to be. There was that transitionary period, 80, 81, maybe 82. But really, by 82 or so, the sound had completely changed. MTV was big. People were like, it looked different. It sounded different. And a lot of those bands couldn't cut it. And
we started basing things on looks.
Yeah, and I think that if you look at Van Halen, I think that they become really a big 80s band, much bigger with Sammy Hagar. They become that iconic, just freaking ruled. The monsters of rock. Stadiums. They went around playing stadiums. Headlining stadium shows. The sound had changed, everything, and the music had changed, and they progressed, and they wanted to do that. But Sammy Hagar brings something a little bit different than David Lee Roth. A, he brings a lot of experience. B, he brings tons of songs. He brings other material that they can do for fun. Because when they toured, they did "I Can't Drive 55." Mm-hmm. That was a song that they did. Plus
Sammy didn't want a whole lot of the earlier catalog.
He didn't do a whole lot, but they did do, because the fans liked it. They were, and I think that Eddie was completely content to play that music as well. Of course, Sammy brings the guitar, which Dave didn't really do. Yes, he played acoustic on Ice Cream Man.
He played guitar.
But he brings so it's a different animal, and it's going to be different. It's going to sound different. It's going to be different music. You just have to accept that. We're going to come back and kind of get into what you guys said about it, and kind of try to come to some kind of consensus here. Sammy or Dave? We're really bad at that here because we want to make it. We like everybody. We want to get along with everybody, but we're going to come.
Here's the thing: we also only have 2 of us today, too. Normally, we have 3 to round it out.
So we're going to kind of we're going to take heavily into consideration what you guys said about it. Okay, this is Lou Lombardi's Strange Love Jesus Talk. We'll be right back. It's just only 3 minutes long. Sugar.
I'm hoping to go to that Sammy Hagar show.
What does it look like for comments? What's what I want to do when we come back?
Unfortunately, not much on this topic. We have people saying Michael Anthony's underrated. And
Well, we have the post we did. So
yeah,
we
that's better than this, to be honest.
Matter with these people.
Mickey Hernandez says hi.
Hey, Mickey! Mickey had a birthday recently.
I know.
Happy birthday, Mickey.
Like, you mentioned Metallica. Someone's like, Saint Anger was a regression. I'm like, okay. Can't bring up anything else.
The attention span of Fanact. Metallica, what? Squirrel!
Can't bring up any other bands.
Did you share it on Rock Rage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
I shared it on mine, too. We do have someone, Amy Pittsburgh. She picked someone, and Billy Altman picked someone.
This is an interesting comment from Jason Pinkney. Dave was more fun. Sam was just better. So what does that mean?
He means since he is.
Angela says better. This ain't the Olympics. So I think we know where Angela's coming from on that.
I know what Jason means. He means that Dave was just more fun to watch and Sammy was just more talented. So he probably picks Sammy. If I know him at all. Which I do.
Okay. The band, we were picking songs, and they picked the song by Metallica I had forgotten about. I Disappear. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool jam. I had forgotten about it. That's on one of those movies. I think it's on Mission Impossible 2 or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah. Stephen Geyer, Dave, no contest. I don't know if it's no contest. We wouldn't be talking about it if it was no contest.
A lot of people think that, though. Oh, Patrick Norman. I know him. He's from the Borstal Boys.
I mean, there's an argument to be made for David Lee Roth just because he started the thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's a totally legit.
That's where we get with the change that nobody wants to change because that's who was the face.
Okay, I'm going to turn it on here. Lou Lombardi's Strange Love, guys. And if you want to know more about that or get some info on that, go to loulombardimusic.com. So we're going to talk about this because we had a very lively discussion on Facebook about this, actually just today. So let's get into a little bit about. We had lots. We have 46 comments.
Not bad. For
So we've got on the side. Well, I don't know. I'm just gonna go run them down. I may not read your comments word for word. So
paraphrase.
I'm gonna do my best to paraphrase. Billy Altman just says Sam. Lily V6. Oh my God, that photo of Dave.
Sorry.
LOL. Barb Helazuski. Sammy, no doubt. Brady Novotny. Dave, grew up on Dave, but Sam took him to new heights. Sammy's saying more positive about relationships. Dave's saying more about the negative side of things. But he doesn't really give. Nice sidestep, Brady. Shame on you. Jason Ortman. Read Sammy's book. Got nothing but the utmost respect for Sammy. Definitely way more talented as an individual than Dave. As he writes, sings, plays guitar. He's a pretty good singer in his day, but that's about it. His ego got. Patrick Norman. Patrick, were you in what's the Pittsburgh band? Major League fan. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I know who you are. I like
He's in the Borsal Boys now.
I like the band. You were in a band I liked called Too Tall Jones. Anyways, Sammy's incredible, talented, but Dave is iconic. Dave, hands down. That's a really good argument. That who started the thing? Who kind of like is the iconic? I mean, there's a lot of great people who are really good singers. I mean, there's tons. Watch the finals on that I do, but if you watch the finals on like something like American Idol or The Voice, I mean, there's tons of people with really, really good voices. That's not. So we got to talk a little bit what makes something great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being iconic is really, really important. Seriously, these people are nuts. I don't know, Josh. Thank you for that comment. I don't know what that means. Jason Pinckney, Dave was more fun. Sam was just better. Angelo says, better. This ain't the Olympics. Brian Cole, being a vocalist, I have to go with Sammy. Ori John Long, Dave looks like Barney Fife. LOL. Yeah, he does now, huh?
He does.
Jeff Mazai. Dave was the early sound of Van Halen, but they made more money with Sammy, and he is still able to sing. The last Van Halen tour the past few years was a joke. Dave can't sing. Stephen Geyer, Dave, no contest. Billy Altman, I'm also going to see Sammy. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Billy. I'm glad you're going to go see Sammy. Khalif D. Williams, Sammy was and is great, but Dave was the voice of Van Halen. Tim Moore, David, Tony Cabos. Hard to say, such different styles. I heard Sammy on Howard Stern recently. His voice still sounds great. I think Dave is a great performer. I love the party anthem.
No, you have to make a choice.
They're both, no, got to pick one. Kevin Foster Walicki, DLR, no brainer. Scott Berry, Dave, hands down. Mike Reed, the Red Rocker, hands down. Okay. Greg, living good. I like your name, living good. I want to be living good. Diamond Dave. I like Sammy too. You said Diamond Dave. You only get one vote. Cody Newkirk.
No,
I
stop
vote.
that.
Cody, shame on you. Fran and I worked in a music store together many years ago, and we had this conversation over and over and over. And I understand when he says I have no interest in ever being in this conversation again. I totally feel you, bro. John Fox, our bro. John, we love you. He says Dave. Jared Grease says Sammy. Jared Grease also says, I prefer his songwriting style, way more musicality. That is a musician. That's a guy. Jared is like a schooled musician, like understands music theory and everything. And I get why somebody with that type of would prefer Sammy Hagar. Makes total sense. I totally get where you're coming from. David Klimo, original Van Halen, had me hooked from the beginning. John Norman says, Nazer says, Sammy. John Bashaw, the Red Rocker, so that's a Sammy. Lenny Collini, I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Lenny's a good singer in his own right, good songwriter. Two different styles, two different eras of the band. For some of the sing his ass off, but they've always brought the rock and roll. Very good at it. Lenny, you don't get a toss up. Greg Frischtick, Gary Sharon.
That is not a choice.
Greg, you win. That's it.
No, Greg, stop it. You're fired.
A vote for Gary Sharon is a vote for David Lee Roth. Tom Johnson. It didn't really matter. Van Halen only liked each other and hated everyone else who was in the band. I like both singers.
No. Fired.
Angela says, do we even have to
He's
answer
picking Dave.
Yeah, of course. Angela's going to be a Dave guy, I can tell. Greg, for sticking all serious, Van Halen 3 is a very under. Okay, we're not talking about Van Halen 3. Love you, Greg. Maybe we'll do another show on that. Yeah. James Hamill says Roth and Hagar should start their own band. Do you know they toured together?
They did that.
And it was a complete cluster.
It didn't work.
No, it didn't work. And Sammy said that he wanted them to come out and do a couple songs together. And I guess at some show, the Kid Rock was there, and he went backstage and he was bitching because he was like, "Come on, this is a no-brainer. You guys should sing together."
It makes sense.
Yeah,
but it doesn't work.
just those. Yeah. Donnie Iozo. I had known and seen Sammy solo several times in small intimate clubs on 77.9 band since being band, Motor Scooter, but saw Van Halen up and close, and they opened the Black Sabbath and was completely blown away. Changed my life forever. Dave was the epitome of the rush. So we're gonna go with Dave with John. So John Norman. Okay, he already talked. Darren Bentley. There is no Van Halen without Dave. Jerry Romeo. I liked them both for a period. Saw the Sam and Dave tour.
Hey, Jerry.
They both nailed it. Isaac Otwell. They were different bands. Both were great. No. You don't get to say that, Isaac. Donald Minder. Dave was 30% Van Halen. That's a good way of putting it. Billy Altman. Okay, so Sam. Okay, so all right. And I guess still people are still commenting. All right. So, in your mind, after all that and everything, everybody's talking, you want to give any shout outs to anybody's watching right now before we.
Yeah. Let's give shout outs to Mike J. Steelman, Jared Grease, Amy Pittsburgh, Michelle Miller, Jim Horosky, Tracy Sampson, Bob Mersing, John Fox, Billy Altman, Bill Damiano. Who else is watching? Vinny Belfiore, Jeff Lantry, Micah Martin, Mickey Hernandez, who says hi. Bobby Lamond, Elizabeth, and I'm going to say your name wrong. I'm sorry, Elizabeth Najar. Bob Piercy. That's all I got.
Guys, I think here's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's David Lee Roth. I'm just saying because I'm looking at. I mean, we're going to go. This is what the fans want, and look at all the people who commented, and it's definitely. I mean, Sammy has his supporters, but it's definitely David Lee Roth for everybody.
That is not true.
But so you prefer Sammy Hagar?
Of course I do.
I mean, Lily prefer, but I think the fans are saying.
According to the fans, yes, David wins because he is Van Halen. Other than, Eddie Van Halen. He is the front man of Van Halen. However, I prefer Sammy as a personal choice.
Now, here's what I want to touch on before we go, before we wrap up for today. There's the Van Halen in your mind. Okay? And then there is reality. I don't know if in 2019?
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be the same with David Lee Roth. In fact, my brother, Kevin, who used to host this podcast with me, has seen both Van Halens many times. And he says that Dave was always sort of like, they had the other guys in the band have said this before, they had always had a hard time getting him to actually sing the songs. He kind of wants to half talk the song and do a lot of kind of, and some fans don't like that. They want, So I think that there's this idealized version that we have of David Lee Roth from TV, from music videos, and from the albums that is a kind of idealized version of him.
He's not like that.
Yeah, he's not really that kind of singer, and he actually hasn't been. Actually, never really was. Eddie Trunk did a really good show a good segment on this a few weeks ago. You guys can go back and look it up, and where he talked about the Van Halen biography, and it was always an issue was, when they got in the studio, everything to get him to really nail those vocals. It was take after take after take after take after take. Whereas Sammy came in and it was done.
Talent was there.
And and I, it is, and to echo what a lot of the fans say, it is kind of two different bands. There was this band that broke in the late 70s. It completely changed everything. And then there was this band that had some of those same guys that had big pop hits in the 80s, right? We could probably put it that way.
We can do that.
We could probably put it that way. But I think hands down, I think people kind of always go back to that David Lee Roth because I think there's this fantasy in their heads that, it was something that I'm not sure that it was as much or as often as, So anyway, so that's it. The fans say Dave, and that's fine,
I'm not agreeing, but
that's okay.
That's fine.
Lily is not a fan. Lily works here.
wow.
So
Where's your checkbook? You write me a check.
I might pay you in beer. Have another one. Have 2 or 3 more.
Oh my God, I'll die.
Please. So Lily, why don't you go ahead and tell the kids at home what's going on? You got some stuff. You have some stuff coming up.
First,
Okay.
my show is on Thursdays, Hot Licks with Lily 6 on Rock Ridge Radio. Free app, download it, or go to the website rockridgeradio.com. Friday, I will be in Rochester, New York, seeing Loverboy. And Saturday, I will be in Rochester, New York, seeing Joey Belladonna's Chiefs Big Way. Yes, Joey Belladonna. That Joey Belladonna from Anthrax.
Well, I thought wasn't he the guy that got Religion? No, that's another guy.
I don't think that's the guy.
They have Dan Spitz.
Yeah.
Dan Spitz is the guy.
So
that got
Joey
Religion.
Belladonna, I will be seeing him. I think he's at the casino. I don't remember. Maybe he's playing there. I don't remember. We're going to see him. And I think that's all I got as far as shows for the next week. Let me just double check here in my little book of fun. Oh, I'm seeing Adelita's Way Wednesday at the Craft House and Combi Christ Thursday at the Craft House. Ooh, Monday, Uli Roth from Scorpions as well at Jurgles.
Whoa.
So I got a lot of things going on.
What has he got? Has he got like an instrumental thing or
Yep.
something? Okay.
It's going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to go live for all of these things at Rock Ridge Radio Facebook page.
All right, guys. You've been listening to Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. Our website is loudinirockandrollcircus.com. Thanks for everybody for chiming in, because this is really about what you guys think. I'm trying to get some kind of answer about this thing, and it's kind of what I suspected. But I'm really glad that you guys talked about it. We worked it out. I hope everybody's still friends afterwards.
I haven't killed you yet.
Oh,
so
that's
I guess
good.
we're good.
We are going to be heading over and have a little chit chat over in our private group. If you would like to participate in that, if you'd like to hang out with some other cool people that really love great guitar driven rock, you want to go to LouLombardiRocks.com. That's LouLombardiRocks.com. You'll get immediate entry. There's a little thing you click and you go right in. We don't even need your email address. Jump over there. We're going to be telling some really dirty jokes. And we're going to be talking possibly, try to come up with something that maybe we could talk about on next week's show. I don't know if the Hawk is out there. He may chime in as well. Guys,
Yes.
thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Real quick before we boogie on out of here, the bands we had were Aftershock, Chip and the Charge Ups, Lou Lombardi, Strange Love, and we're going to end with Darkness on the Radio. Aftershock is aftershock.com. Remember, no C in shock. Chip and the Charge Ups are thechargeups.com. You can go to LouLombardiMusic.com as well. And we're going to rock out with Darkness on the Radio. And this is a rockpage.net/Darkness on the Radio.
That's a lot of things.
So there's a whole lot of things going on there. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Darkness on the Radio. Judas, take the wheel on the way out. You guys have a great one. And we'll catch you guys all on the next Loudini Hard Rock and Metal Circus. Oh,
I'm going to have Joey Belladonna send my boob.
Your boo?
My boob.
Boob. Oh.
There's a lot of surface area there. So you can get the whole name on there. The whole name.
You said whole.
Billy, he told you where it was. He's trying to get on the inner circle link. He shouldn't be on there. He's too young.
He knows exactly where it is.
Doesn't he go to it like every...
He goes all the time. I don't know what he's talking about. He's out of his mind. Billy, go to LouLombardiRocks.com, okay, big guy? We're going to be heading over there in a second. We're just getting things wrapped up here. I want to say good night to YouTube as well. Good night, YouTube. Good night, YouTube. Well, it's time to go.